Okay, fair warning before I get way too into this video is going to be an absolute mess because I'm just going to talk about Spider-Man No Way Home a lot. So before I get right into this, I want to go ahead and talk about why I'm making this video the way that I'm making it as opposed to how I was going to make it. So basically, I don't know if you guys know, there is a YouTuber named Sean Chandler Talks About Movies. He is a very, very popular YouTuber. If you do not know him, but you are currently watching my video, you should let me know because I'd feel honored, honestly. But he has like 250,000 followers. He talks about movies. He makes great videos. He makes really good content. And me and him are on the same wavelength right now, I swear to God, because when he posted his video ranking the likelihood of each of the Guardians of the Galaxy people to die a couple weeks ago, I posted the same video the exact same day, right? When he posted his video ranking all the Guardians of the Galaxy members, I was literally writing out my video of how I was going to rank my Guardians of the Galaxy's characters, which both of those are relatively common things, so those kind of make sense. But today, he randomly posted a video called Spider-Man No Way Home Sucks, which is a video I've been writing, essentially, and that's just so out of the blue, and it threw me off so much, and it threw me for a loop. And what's it called? I've been working on it for a while, and what's it called? I'm kind of at like a writer's block with it, so I decided I'll just come on here and do an unfiltered talk and just talk to you guys about why it's not as great as everybody seems to think it is, because it is a really good movie and I like it, but a lot of the stuff doesn't work and there's a lot of plot holes in it, and that's the main reason why I just want to talk about it. I want to quickly address a bunch of plot holes, because the other day I made a YouTube short where I ranked the top 10 MCU movies in my opinion now that Guardians of the Galaxy has came out, and there was this comment on it. It wasn't really like a hateful comment, but it was just something that like bothered me. So I had 6 seconds to talk about each of the movies that I posted, and I mentioned plot holes for Spider-Man No Way Home because it literally is plot hole central. For one, Peter Parker's a genius. He should be able to get into almost any college. Yes, there's controversy around him. Well, didn't he, get proven innocent? Like, I feel like his court probably would have been like a really massive court thing that would have been seen by a lot of people. It would have been like the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard thing, where people have seen it and they would know he's innocent because they've seen Matt Murdock give some brilliant speech about it. But you know what? That's fine, right? Obviously, if there's controversy and some schools don't want to accept him, some schools don't want to accept him. But during the time span that is happening, right, he's applied for a bunch of schools. He gets rejection letter after rejection letter after rejection letter after rejection letter. You're telling me not him or Aunt May has been like, maybe you should contact the school and ask them to reconsider or something like that. I understand that that's like a big reveal in the movie when you get to Doctor Strange and he's just like, you're telling me you wanted me to change the reality of the universe before you just went and had a conversation with them or whatever? And it's like, yeah, that's dumb. And the main reason why it bothers me is because he's a genius, MJ's a genius, Ned is a genius. That's established in the first movie when they're doing their little nerd triathlon, whatever the fuck it's called. And Aunt May is a relatively smart person. And not a single one of them is like, hey, why don't we try to, communicate with them, try to reconsider things. They all just are so quick to give up on their goals. And it makes sense for MJ's character because she's like, her whole thing in this movie is accept disappointment and you won't be disappointed or whatever, right? But like, that's a big thing that bothers me in this movie. Peter Parker's supposed to be a genius. He does a lot of stupid stuff, which is kind of just like fitting for his Tom Holland version of the character, which is like fine, but like also a little infuriating. The next thing I want to talk about, the spell itself. It brings in everybody who knows Peter Parker is Spider-Man, right? Electro in Andrew Garfield's universe doesn't know that Spider-Man is Peter Parker. And also, doesn't seem like he would really care about trying to figure out Spider-Man's secret identity. So, what I wish they would have done with this character is make it a different Electro entirely. So, when we first meet Electro in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, he was this shy, little socially awkward guy. He's a nobody, right? I think it'd be a cool character arc that, say, in that movie, or in another version of that movie that was significantly better, instead of just like going around and accidentally doing things and becoming a bad guy, I feel like it would have been really cool if he got these electric powers and he kind of was like, oh my god, I want to be like Spider-Man, I want to save people and stuff like that, right? And he basically becomes like Syndrome in this universe, right? He wants to be friends with Spider-Man, he wants to be, Spider-Man's kind of sidekick in a sense, right? And in this universe, right, where this Electro comes from, he figures out Spider-Man's secret identity, because he would need to know Spider-Man's secret identity for this spell to have any effect on him. And he's really trying to get Spider-Man to be friends with him. And Spider-Man's not falling for it. Spider-Man's not doing it. Spider-Man doesn't give a care. Spider-Man is being very dismissive of him, right? So that could set up some interesting character work, where Jamie Foxx's Electro actually gets to be a good villain. Okay, future editing Blake here. I wanted to add something because I thought I mentioned it, but I was rewatching this video before uploading it and I realized I didn't say anything about it. I also think that this probably would have been really cool because that way in the movie, since Spider-Man was very dismissive in that Electro's universe, when Andrew Garfield said, "Hey Max, I missed you, man," that probably could have been a really cool character moment for that version of Electro to be like, "Oh my god, Spider-Man knows me? Spider-Man knows who I am?" And it could have been like a really cool reveal. And instead, they just made him a very basic villain. But I'm going to keep talking. Compelling villain. That's really interesting. Instead of now, he's just new universe. This is a new power. I'm going to be unstoppable or whatever. And he's like, "I like the new," or whatever he says. And it's like, don't get me wrong. It's interesting watching him get powered up and using an arc reactor. That was smart, right? But like, there was no big character moments for him specifically, and I feel like the only villain that really got a chance to shine, with the exception of Dr. Ock, but Dr. Ock I'm not really considering a villain for the sake of this video, is Green Goblin. Green Goblin is pretty much the only villain who did anything really interesting or worthwhile in this movie. And if you're going to do a Spider-Man movie with the Sinister Six in it, and there were 6 of them because Venom was technically there, right? Why not actually do something interesting? Like, another thing that bothers me about it, there are so many really cool Spider-Man villains. Spider-Man has like the biggest rogues gallery in pretty much all of comics, basically, and they just do characters who we've seen from the other movies, which is like fine, right? But why would you limit yourself to characters who we've already seen? This would have been a really cool time to bring in a live action Scorpion or some B-list or C-list Spider-Man villain that most common people haven't even heard of. So when something interesting is happening during the fight and they're trying to save everybody and this guy shows up, people are going to be like, who is that? And then random comic book fans will be like, oh my god, shocked, right? But no, that's not a thing that happens in this movie. But yeah, that's just another main thing that really bothers me. They like try introducing the multiverse in the MCU and they've limited it so much. They have connected to 2 other universes in that movie, and they've connected to 2 other universes in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. And this is supposed to be the multiversal saga, and so far, we have not delved into any multiverses. Everything has taken place in 616, as far as we know, and the 2 things that really had an opportunity to play with the multiverse the most, in my opinion, haven't really done so. Which isn't that huge of a thing, right? But, like, I feel like the fan service could have been something more interesting than just Tobey and Andrew are back. Tobey and Andrew being back is great, and it's fantastic, but it kind of takes away from some of the third act action that would have been cool, like seeing a Spider-Man take on the Sinister Six, which, obviously, you know, they're trying to make this a slow burn origin story for Spider-Man, watching him become the actual Spider-Man from the comics, where, you know, he gets the "with great power comes great responsibility" speech, and now he's ready to, you know, make suits on his own, and he is, you know, caring more about his secret identity now. Like, it's cool, right? I like how they ended this movie. I think that was great. But the third act battle could have been more interesting without Tobey and Andrew there. Did I like them being there? Did I like that it kind of helped solve some of the character work from Andrews that was missing? Yeah, I think it was great. I think it was fantastic. But I do think that a lot of this movie hinges on plot holes, and that there are some interesting things that those plot holes kind of taken away. Like, for one, the movie kind of had to rush the beginning of the movie so it can get to the Tobey and Andrew stuff. And personally, I think it would have been really interesting to spend more scenes with Matt Murdock at the beginning of the movie, getting Spider-Man's name cleared. In the She-Hulk show, the majority of that show sucks. But you know what? There was a scene that was really, really good where Matt Murdock talks to She-Hulk about how she is in the position to do a lot of really good stuff because she can help people with the law as herself, and then when the law doesn't work for them, she can help them out as She-Hulk. And he gives this cool motivational speech, and it shows Daredevil is an experienced superhero. He's somebody who's a leader. He's somebody who's really interesting. He's somebody who's really cool. Wouldn't it be smart to have him meeting up with Superman? Meeting up with Spider-Man. I am sorry. I'm tired. Okay. But wouldn't it have been interesting to have scenes with them together? I feel like that is a big thing that a lot of people have been wanting for a long time. And it would be really interesting to set up this relationship between Matt Murdock and Spider-Man. And I know a lot of people are probably like, oh, but that'd be kind of pointless because they're not going to remember him anyways. I think it would have been cool if you did that in this movie, right? Have Matt Murdock give him some cool big speech and kind of help him discover himself a little bit. And then in the future movies or whatever, he can go to Matt Murdock when he needs somebody to remember him. And it could be a really big thing that, like, in the short time that they spend together, he learns, like, something he can say to Matt Murdock to kind of help him realize that him and Matt Murdock have met before, right? And I think that it would be a very interesting dynamic that they could have explored instead of just having a maybe 30-second scene showing Matt Murdock, because, in my opinion, Charlie Cox coming in the MCU is such a huge thing that it deserved more time than Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire being in the movie to kind of give them a farewell, you know? Like, they're not going to be in the future of the MCU. Why are we giving them an ungodly amount of time? And especially when some of the stuff that's with them is honestly not that interesting. Like, it's cool, and if it was, like, just stuff that was on the DVD exclusive thing, probably would have been perfectly fine, because there's extended scenes of the scene where they're talking on the Statue of Liberty or whatever, and it's like, yeah, it's interesting, it's cool, it's fun to watch, but it doesn't really do anything for the plot. And I don't know. But yeah, that's the majority of the stuff that I want to talk about. Knowing me, I'm going to go back and rewatch this video in a little bit, and I'm going to be like, oh, I missed so much stuff. But I'm going to be honest, I'm a little too tired to care right now. I love and appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys for constantly giving me the support. My videos recently have been very scrappy and crappy, and I promise I'm going to work on that, and I'm going to get them back up to higher quality stuff. I've just been working a lot recently, and life is exhausting. But anyways, I love and appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.